Captain Jaren Holt had faced many battles in his career, but none like this. The war against the Xylarian Armada had been brutal, spanning 3 systems and costing countless lives. Humanity had been on the brink of defeat when Jaren's squad executed a daring maneuver that turned the tide, destroying the Armada's command ship and forcing a surrender. For this, he was rewarded, not with medals or promotions, but something far more unusual, an alien girl. Her name was Lyra, though no one had explained why she had been chosen to accompany him. When Jaren first saw her, she was presented formally by the Xylarian High Council, standing silently with a calm, almost regal posture. Her skin was a soft, shimmering shade of blue, and her eyes glowed faintly violet, reflecting intelligence and confidence. She wore a flowing robe that hinted at ceremonial significance, adorned with subtle patterns that seemed to move with the light. "You are my reward?" Jaren asked cautiously, unsure if this was a test, a joke, or something else entirely. Lyra smiled. It was not a shy or timid smile. It was knowing, confident, and slightly mischievous. "Not a reward, Captain," she said in perfect galactic common. "I am an ally, assigned to you. But perhaps you could see it as a reward, if that is your perspective." The room erupted with whispers. Humans receiving alien companions was rare, almost unheard of, and the Xylarians took their protocols seriously. Jaren, however, had little time for politics. He nodded curtly and accepted her presence, though he could not suppress a flicker of unease. The journey back to Earth was tense. Lyra did not speak unless spoken to, and her eyes followed his every move with uncanny precision. He had expected awkwardness or resentment, yet there was nothing of the sort. Only observation, calm and deliberate. "Why are you smiling?" Jaren finally asked after the first day in transit. They were alone in the shuttle's observation deck, watching distant stars streak by. Lyra turned to him, her expression enigmatic. "Because most humans expect me to be difficult," she said. "And yet, you have not treated me as a prize or a burden. You see me as an equal, a companion in purpose. That is rare." Jaren blinked. "Equal? I'm just a human. I don't have powers or rank beyond my command. I destroyed their flagship, yes, but that hardly makes me worthy of an alien ally." She shook her head slightly. "You misunderstand, Captain. Worth is not measured by strength alone. Courage, insight, and empathy, these are rarer than any weapon." Her words lingered in his mind for days. Jaren had spent his life relying on tactics, strategy, and force. Now he was learning that diplomacy, understanding, and trust could be equally, if not more, powerful. During the weeks that followed, Jaren and Lyra were inseparable. She assisted him in translating Xylarian communications, navigating interstellar politics, and mediating disputes among the newly liberated systems. And always, that smile, calm, knowing, encouraging, followed him, subtle but constant. One mission, however, changed everything. A rogue faction in the Triangulum sector had seized control of a colony, taking hundreds hostage. Jaren's crew was sent to negotiate, armed with diplomacy, threats, and, if necessary, force. Lyra accompanied him, her presence alone commanding attention. At the negotiation table, the leader of the faction sneered at Jaren. "You? A human," he spat. "Do you think you can intimidate us?" Jaren took a deep breath, recalling Lyra's lessons. "I am not here to intimidate. I am here to negotiate. You may have power, but your people suffer under your choices. Release the hostages, and we will work with you to find a solution that benefits all." The leader laughed, unimpressed. But then Lyra stepped forward. Her violet eyes glimmered, and her voice carried authority that no human could match. These are not mere words. Observe the human you doubt. He does not rely on threats, nor does he fear responsibility. His actions speak louder than any weapon you possess. The room fell silent. The faction leader's confidence faltered. Humans were rarely seen as equals among the alien races, yet here was one whose reputation, combined with Lyra's presence, demanded respect. After tense moments, he nodded reluctantly. The hostages were released. Back on the shuttle, Jaren finally allowed himself to smile. "I don't know how you do it," he admitted. "You're intimidating, brilliant, and somehow still calm." Lyra tilted her head, her smile softening. "It is not me, Captain. It is you. You are learning to see beyond appearances, beyond expectations. That is what makes humans formidable, though most fail to realize it." Weeks turned into months, and Jaren's reputation grew. He was no longer just a skilled tactician. He was a figure of respect across multiple systems. Lyra's presence amplified his credibility, but it was her guidance, her observation, and her unwavering smile that pushed him beyond his limits. One evening, as they observed the stars from the bridge of his flagship, Jaren spoke quietly. "Lyra, I never expected to be chosen by the Xylarians, and I certainly never expected you. But now I realize how much your presence changes everything. Not just for me, but for humanity." She regarded him for a long moment, her violet eyes gleaming. "And you, Captain, have changed everything for me as well. I was assigned to assist, to observe, to guide. Yet, in truth, I have learned more from your courage, your decisions, and your honesty than I ever could have anticipated." Jaren felt a warmth in his chest. He had fought countless battles, faced unimaginable dangers, and witnessed horrors that would haunt many. Yet this connection, trust, and mutual respect was more rewarding than any victory he had ever known. Months later, the High Council of Xylarian formally recognized their alliance. Jaren Holt, a human, had become a symbol of what his species could achieve: courage, wisdom, and unexpected influence in the galactic arena. And Lyra, by his side, was more than an ally or a reward. She was a partner in every sense. The final confirmation came during a public ceremony broadcast across multiple systems. Jaren stood with Lyra at his side, the crowd of dignitaries and civilians watching. The Xylarian Chancellor announced their accomplishments, and the applause was deafening. And then, as Jaren turned to Lyra, she smiled, the same smile that had first welcomed him, the one that had guided him through trials and victories, the one that had silently acknowledged every challenge they had overcome together. In that moment, Jaren understood the truth. The reward had never been the alien girl herself. It had been the partnership, the trust, and the realization that humans could stand among the stars, not just as warriors, but as equals capable of shaping the galaxy. And Lyra's smile was not just approval, it was recognition, respect, and a promise that together, they could face anything. Years later, stories of Captain Jaren Holt and Lyra's partnership became legendary across the interstellar colonies. Young humans and aliens alike spoke of the human who had been underestimated and the alien girl whose smile had changed the course of events. Their tale was one of courage, diplomacy, and unexpected friendship, a reminder that respect and understanding could transcend species, culture, and expectation.